Because the guy in that parable, the guy that had one talent, was average. Very average. Maybe he had the potential to do more, but he chose to be average. Instead of him going out there and trying to turn that one talent into two talents, instead of him giving it to the bank to collect interest, instead of him getting advice from people and doing something better, he let fear dictate his life, and then he was average. Welcome everybody back to the FCS Prep Podcast, where I am your host, Dr. Keith Fairclough. And guys, we are back today, and we are going to be talking about excellence. You've been waiting for it. I've been talking about it. This is the intro into our series about excellence. I am passionate about excellence because there's so much that goes into it. It's so powerful. It's as powerful as unconditional love. It's as powerful as personal responsibility. Those are my three pillars. It's how I operate. Excellence is so good. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited I'm getting ahead of myself. And this is just the intro. So remember, hey, do all the housekeeping stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, share, comment, do all that stuff, right? Just so you make sure that when these videos come out, when the shorts come out, you can go ahead and see those, inspire your life, encourage your life, change your life. Remember, FCS Prep is talking real change right now. Not real change tomorrow, not real change in a couple of years. We're talking about real change right now. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this, all right? Let's start talking about excellence. I'm gonna tell you where this intro even came from, right? Because I always like showing you guys where these things come from. So yesterday, I went on my prayer walk, and early in the morning, I heard something on the Bible as it was playing, and it was about three guys and the talents. The one had 5, one had 2, one had 1. In the morning, I got this message, it was something that stuck out to me. I heard this story 1,000 times. Something specifically stuck out to me this time, and I forgot about it. And so I go on my prayer walk, and I'm praying, and I'm asking God, hey, what was that thing? What was that thing? What was that thing? And just nothing came to me. I said, well, I'm sure it'll come back up. Then my son comes home. My son, I got something through Infinite Campus. It's like whatever. It's Infinite Campus shows me his grade, right? When I saw it, his grade dropped from like an A to like an F because of one assignment. So whatever, I'm not tripping over it because I know he'll get it back. But so he comes home, me and him are talking about it. We're talking about the grade. We're talking about everything. Along the lines, we're talking about how to go about getting it back. And he says, oh, well, all I need to do is get it back to an 80, right? All I need to do is just do what I got to do to get it back to an 80. And then boom, it hit me. It hit me. The thing in that scripture, it hit me. And so what hit me? The idea of being average. That's what hit me. So the idea of being average. So I go into my long dad motivational speaker speech with him about average, right? And it just hit me. Because the guy in that parable, the guy that had one talent, was average. Very average. Maybe he had the potential to do more, but he chose to be average. Instead of him going out there and trying to turn that one talent into two talents, instead of him giving it to the bank to collect interest, instead of him getting advice from people and doing something better, he let fear dictate his life, and then he was average. And so I told my son, do not strive to get an 80. That is the wrong mindset to have. You need to strive to be the absolute best you could possibly be. 100%, you need to try to be the absolute best. And I guarantee if you try to get the absolute best, maybe you won't get 100%, but you'll definitely get past an 80 for sure. But if you just aim for 80, if you just aim for average, then you're not even gonna get that. Aim as high as you can. And for those of you like, well, 80 is not average, you're missing the point, right? You're missing the point. There's an old saying that says, shoot for the moon. And even if you miss the moon, you'll still be among the stars. I always think stars better than moon, but whatever. The saying is, shoot for the moon. And if you miss, you'll still be among the stars. The idea is, because you're living in excellence, because you're not trying to be average, because you're pushing beyond that even if you don't make it, even if you fail, you're still going to be so much higher, so much further along than everybody else who just decided to be average. But here's the crazy part about average, right? Because everybody thinks excellent. Everybody wants the money. Everybody wants the cars. Everybody wants the great relationship. Everybody wants the kids. Everybody wants the health and the abs and the this and then that. Everybody wants that. I've never heard someone say, man, I just want average. I want an average job. I want average money. I want an average wife. I want average kids. I want average grades. I want average this, average house, average. No one ever says that. I want you to seriously think about this for a second. And any conversation you have with anybody, when anyone ever talks about average, they're settling. But no one ever says my dream is average. I just want to be average. I don't want a six-pack, just enough so it's not hanging over. No one says that. Nobody says that. You ever stop and think about that? People always dream in excellence. You think about dreams. I want to go to college. I want to start a business. I want to make $1 million. I want to make six figures. I want a great looking wife. I want a phenomenal family. It's always in those terms. It's always in the terms of something excellent. It's excellence. People want excellence. When they look at people who are successful, they want excellence. But too often people settle for average over and over and over again for a number of different reasons. One is fear of being inadequate, not enough. Back to the very beginning, yet you're not worthy. Some people fear rejection. They're like, man, if I put myself out there, I could possibly get rejected. Remember, we talked about how rejection, what happens with that. We had the whole series about rejection. We had that series that we talked about unconditional love and where all that comes from. And people are scared of rejection. People want to be accepted. They want to be heard, validated, and understood. And we talked about all that because they're scared of losing what they think is love, or the love they think they have. And maybe they do have love, but it's such an irrational fear where it's like, oh, if I put myself out there, I'm going to lose that. And so they settle. People settle. I forgot who said it, but they said like the graveyard's one of the richest places in the world because so many people die with so many great ideas and cures for diseases and inventions and policies and all these great things that could benefit humanity, but people die with them. The seed of greatness is in them. It's in us. And instead of cultivating it, instead of watering it, instead of fertilizing it, instead of taking care of it, they let it die in the ground. Isn't that crazy? I want you to think about that. The seed of greatness is in each and every one of us. And too often, people let the seed die in the ground. The seed's supposed to be in the ground. I want you to catch that for a second. The seed is supposed to be in the ground. That's where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be there, and it's supposed to be cultivated so it can grow and produce and multiply and generate more seeds. That's what a seed's supposed to do. The seed of greatness is in each and every one of us through our gifts, skills, talents, abilities, way to communicate, way to love people, way to reach out to people, bring people together, organize, whatever. The seed of greatness is in each and every one of us. And if you choose to be average, then that seed will die in the ground with you. And how sad is that? How sad is it that because we're not willing to water that seed, it's going to die and people are going to miss out? Because again, that seed is supposed to produce fruit. Other people eat from that fruit. The fruit of our greatness, other people eat from and they grow from, and they use it to cultivate their seed so they can grow. It's supposed to be a continuous process, but we let average kill us. We let average be our barometer. And here's the crazy part. We set average as the social norm, and then when people strive beyond that, a lot of times people get mad at that. They don't like that. They hate that someone else is doing something. Why? Because when they do it, it reveals that you should be doing it too. And you want the excuse of life's too hard, I've been through too much, the market's not right, I don't have supportive people, I have this handicap, I'm struggling with this. We want to use these excuses, and because someone else with the same things, if not worse, is out here killing the game, watering their greatness, growing, doing phenomenal things, refusing to be average, living in excellence, overcoming all these barriers, they're revealing that, nah, Nah, the lies that you told yourself, that's all they are lies. And now you're exposed and you have no option but to either live up to it or just sit there with the shame. But instead of doing that, instead of living up to it, which is what we're supposed to do, we're supposed to be encouraged by those who go above us and beyond us and show us the way. Instead of being encouraged by that, a lot of people tear them down. Nah, you gotta be average like me. I gotta make this lie be true. I gotta pull you down. So average is a no-no. Average is a no-no. At any point in time, you should never, ever, ever settle for average. We're not built like that. I told y'all back in the podcast a while ago that we're God's direct descendants from the one and only God. Literally his children, built in his image, given his power. God is not average. He is not average, not even a little bit. He's not average. There's nothing about God that's average. And he's saying, shoot, y'all can do what I do. But instead, we believe the lie that we can't. We believe the lie that we're stuck because of our skin color. We believe the lie we're stuck because of our gender. We believe the lie we're stuck because of where we live. We believe the lie that because we're in this group or because we're in that group, we believe all these lies, all these societal norms. We believe them and then just accept that as a truth. Guys, I'm here to set the captives free, man. I'm here to set y'all free. No more. We have to operate in excellence. And what is excellence? Excellence is doing your absolute best with everything you have that's within you in whatever it is you're pursuing. That is excellence. So excellence doesn't necessarily mean, oh, it's this income bracket. No, that's not excellence. Because maybe you don't have the whatever. Well, you know what? Matter of fact, hold on. Scratch that. Take that out. Because anyone can reach any level of income at any point in time in their life, period. I strongly and wholeheartedly believe that. But excellence has to be geared towards what you're striving for, right? So if you're not striving to make all this money, then guess what? No matter how much money you got, that's not excellence. Maybe excellence for you is making sure you're the best father you could possibly be because your father was trash. Maybe excellence is being the best wife you could be because your mother was a horrible wife to your father. Maybe excellence for you is being the absolute best in your class because no one in your family graduated from high school or college. Maybe excellence for you is creating a business in your community to employ people in your community because that's what's been lacking. So excellence is really dependent upon what you're striving for. But daggone it, whatever you strive for, make sure you give your 100% best. Mind, body, soul, spirit, money, intelligence, energy, everything. You give everything into that thing. That is excellence. That's how you beat average. That's how you overcome average. You'll never be average if you put your all into everything. If you live with the idea of excellence, I got to be excellent at all times. And another thing about excellence, it's not about comparison to somebody else. That is not excellence. I had a post on my Instagram years ago where I said, stay in your lane, but watch how others drive. Because there's some things that if you watch other people, you can learn, but you're not them. You're not on their path. You're not on their journey. You're not them. So don't try to be them. Simply, okay, we're doing the same thing, and there's some ways I can make myself better. That is excellence. It's not comparison. It's your absolute best. And so even talking to my son, I told him the same thing. I said, son, excellence is your absolute best. Don't just go for 80 because I know without a shadow of a doubt this man can get an A. He can get an A. Period. He can get an A. That's not an exaggeration. That's not me bragging. I just know his capability and his work ethic. He can get an A. I just know that with 100%. So excellence for him needs to be an A. That's excellence for him. Excellence for me and for instance, for me, if my wife's not good, I gotta make sure she's good. If my kids are distressed, I gotta make sure they're taken care of. I gotta talk to them. I gotta engage them. I gotta keep my finger on the pulse. For me, that's excellence. That's being excellent. That's me another thing, me changing as a father in order to accommodate my children the right way, to talk to them the right way, to engage with them the right way, apologize if I make a mistake. That's excellence to me because that's what I needed growing up. And guess what? That's what I want to make sure my kids have growing up. That's all I have to say, guys. I'm going to wrap it up right here. Excellence. Do not choose to be average. Choose to be excellent. Set your mind and your eyes on a goal, and you put everything into that. Don't sit in your comfort zone. Don't accept societal norms. Don't do any of that. You be excellent. Water the seed of greatness that's been put in you the moment you were conceived. Do not die without that seed germinating, without that seed turning into a tree and producing fruit for all those around you. Do not do that. Do not do that. Because you go back to that parable of the man with the one talent, and beyond him just being average, his cardinal sin is he didn't produce, man. He didn't produce at all. He didn't even try to produce. That's a whole thing in and of itself. So guys, let's produce. We're not going to be average. Anyone listening to this podcast, I'm telling you right now, you are not going to be average. The fact that you're even listening to this podcast shows and tells me that you're not going to be average. Because average people don't try to better their lives. Average people aren't looking for real change right now. Average people are okay with the way things are. They don't want to get better. They don't want to get worse. They just want to kind of maintain and coast. That's it. That's all I got for you guys. We're going to be talking about excellence in the next couple of videos, getting a little into the nitty gritty, how to be excellent, what that looks like, what are some general characteristics of those who operate in excellence, why we should be excellent. We're going to be talking about all that, so please stay tuned. I love each and every one of you. Thank you all for showing up. Woo! Man, this is awesome. Guys, remember, all the housekeeping stuff again, like, comment, subscribe, share if you haven't done all that stuff yet. I love you guys. I will see and talk to you all later.